What's up guys? Today, I'm going to show you the most overpowered item in all of Minefun. The strangest part is, most players don't even know this item exists. Like, what does this even do? And other than developers being the only ones who can use it, it has an insanely overpowered secret glitch that only a few players know about, including straight up creative mode. This is everything you need to know about Minefun's most overlooked and most powerful item. Before I show you the bug, I first need to explain how it's supposed to work. When you hold it in your hand, a button will appear that says Create Prefab. Clicking on it, you'll find this interesting UI, except that none of the buttons actually work. Anyway, clicking on two blocks creates a green 3D grid between them. Once this is here, move to another slot, press B, then move back to the magic stick. This will free your cursor and open a new list of options. The first is spawn point, which doesn't do anything. Next is copy blocks, which actually does copy data to your clipboard and also creates another option called insert copied blocks, but sadly this doesn't work either. Then there's the add prefab button, which opens this UI that quite frankly is pretty confusing. But no matter what you type into these inputs, when you press create prefab, it exits you out and sometimes just straight up kicks you from the server. Finally, there's delete blocks, which also doesn't work, and open prefabs, which does the same thing as it did before. There's actually no limit on the size of the area of the grid, so if you go really far from one end to the other, it creates this giant box that looks like something out of the Matrix. However, if you press copy blocks for something this big, your game will either crash or become a literal PowerPoint presentation. Another thing to mention is that after highlighting blocks, you have access to two new commands, /copy and /paste. And while I will say that you probably shouldn't be doing it with giant chunks like this, it's a really cool feature that I hope the developers will implement someday. Homie made a video explaining how it works and goes into much fuller detail about this mechanic. However, there is a secret third command called /fill, and with it you can get every single developer's item in the game. Here's how it works. First, click two blocks like you did for /copy and /paste. Then, in chat, you type /fill and then the block ID. If you don't know what a block ID is, it's the game's way of tracking what block it is, and you can see it by pressing this button. For example, I'm going to type /fill22, and this fills the space with block type 22, which is the spike block. Then you're going to press your middle mouse button, and you will get the item in your inventory. Now you can use it in your builds. Also, it's not just spikes that you can use this for, but every block in the game, including the admin-only ones. Here's all of those items and their block IDs for you to use. As of now, developers are the only ones who can use it properly, but it does look like it was designed for future updates. But for now, there's still an extremely overpowered bug we can use it for. What if I told you this item has the most broken feature of all time? It gives you creative mode in survival, peaceful, or even hardcore. And all you have to do is hold it. Once this item enters your hand, blocks break instantly. In fact, every block breaks instantly. Even illegal things like water and lava and even bedrock. Actually, bedrock still can't break. This is extremely useful for mining and getting resources for building. Also, if you run into a lava pool while mining, you can just pick up all of the lava to use it for your own builds. Just keep in mind that lava still hurts you. You can also place blocks directly in the air. If you have a chain or a rope, you can use it to get down from any height with ease. This begs the question, how did I even get a magic stick in survival? Well, the updates from a few days ago added submodes to Sandbox, one of which was creative. What the developers didn't realize, however, was that if nobody was on a survival server and someone joined it in the creative submode, the whole server could become creative. This means a server can switch between survival, hardcore, creative, and peaceful. The server I'm on, being the one created by Zephyron, switched to creative, but eventually switched back to survival. But in the brief period of time that it was creative, I made sure to keep a few magic sticks. One last thing, I did not copy Homie's video. Let me explain. After my last video, I made a poll asking you guys which video you wanted next, which ended up being this one. However, around the same time, Homie made a video about admin items, and everyone in the comments was asking for a video on the magic stick. It was just a coincidence. However, I still highly recommend watching his video, if you haven't already seen it, of course. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. No pressure, of course. I've been improving my editing skills over the past few months, so you can expect this level of quality in the next video. See you next time.